history, you were eminently qualified for this position up to about January of 2020. And I don't want to just keep going over and over, but well, I guess one thing we learned yesterday that the Office of the Inspector General in the VA is being cut by 100 people. Were you aware of that?
No, Senator, I was not.
Well, check the budget. You're going to lose 100 people before you even walk through the door.
I will definitely look into that.
To me, that doesn't indicate a great deal of respect and confidence in the job of the Inspector General. And the challenge that you have is having been a close advisor to the Secretary and then turning around and being Inspector General. That's what we've all been concerned about. And I think that's, Senator Blumenthal at the beginning said, basically, you have the burden of proof, given this close relationship to the Secretary as an advisor for the past 4 months, through a pretty tumultuous time, to convince us that you can turn around and have an objective, independent view of actions taken by the Secretary or by senior advisors. Give me a reason to vote for you here. I like you. As I say, I think you were very well qualified, but it's very unusual. The research I've done, it's very unusual for IGs to be appointed from within the agency that they're going to be an IG. The conflict of interest just sort of jumps out at you. And given your longtime association with the VA, you know the people, and your close association with the Secretary, convince me that you can be objective and forthright and tough, which is the job of the Attorney General.
Well, Senator, I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for the question. As we spoke yesterday, and as I think it's very important to look at my background and my history. Yes, I came in the department as a senior advisor in January of 2025. We are not disputing that. But again, my role as senior advisor, I think there's been some assumptions made. I was brought back at the request of the President. He asked me to return because of my 28 years in the department as an impartial, independent actor.
And if you were before this committee as a deputy secretary or another role, I don't think we'd be asking these questions. You're coming into a very unusual job in our government and a very important job. And that's the difference. Do you see? You're not coming in as a policymaker.
I understand that. And Senator, very little about my background and my experience is typical. I'm known for my unusualness. So let me talk about that. I was brought back because of that independence and that background. And when I was asked to advise the Secretary on various things from that independent, impartial review, the Secretary was not looking for yes people. The Secretary was looking for impartiality, independence, of someone that can challenge conventional wisdom, do things differently. That's what I bring to it. So from my time as chairman of the board, previously as a judge, I look at things independently and impartially. Even stepping out of the role as a careerist into a political role during the Trump administration the first time and walking into the role as chairman. That also was fraught with concern because, again, I had to act independently. And I held people in the department at bay when they tried to infringe on actions of the board. And I will do the same as Inspector General. I'm known as a tough, honest broker. I put veterans first. I am about the veterans and the families of this country. That's who I serve, and that's who I've served for since I was 20-some years old.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate your forthrightness. I'd like to suggest, if you're confirmed, the first investigation should be in these non-disclosure agreements. Number one, they lack the legally required language that's supposed to be in all government non-disclosure agreements, that it does not apply to whistleblowers, to the Inspector General. The one that has been circulated that we've seen in the department does not have that language. It requires that they report to Congress, but that's about it. In other words, it's an illegal non-disclosure agreement. The second question I hope you'll examine is, why do you need a non-disclosure agreement for talking about a restructuring exercise? Non-disclosure agreements, in my experience, usually involve sensitive procurement information and national security. That's neither the case for how to reorganize the Veterans Administration. I hope that that's something that you might look at. I think the non-disclosure agreement that's been signed is illegal and unnecessary, and it certainly doesn't fill us with confidence that this is going to be carried out in an open, transparent, and thoughtful way with the engagement of this committee and interested parties across the country. So that is something I hope you'll take under advisement, as we say in the legal field. But I'm seriously concerned about it. There shouldn't be a non-disclosure agreement on something like how we're going to reorganize the department. And by the way, the department has not been forthcoming at all to this committee about their plans and how this process of firing 80,000 people is going to be carried out.
Thank you. I will take that under advisement, and I do believe that the Whistleblower Act and Accountability Act that was sponsored by Senator Blumenthal should be followed under the law.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mrs. Mason,